Hey everyone, just a small little update here before this video begins. If you want to go straight to the video, use this time code on screen. So, as you may or may not be aware, I finally finished the first Wings of Fire book, The Dragonette Prophecy, and I'm currently working on a review for it. There's already over 11 minutes of audio for it, and I haven't even got through talking about the first half of the book yet, and I'm still scripting more of it as I'm recording. Turns out I have a lot more to say about it than I realised, and I want to try and strive to have a video out on this channel at least once a month, so please bear with me while I work through it. This review has actually become a much bigger project than I initially expected. I also want it to be as thorough as possible before I put it out because it's something I really care about. So I thank you for your patience on that. Also, in case you're wondering why I've added outdated in brackets to the Rick and Morty video and the Ender Dragon video, it's because they either get information wrong or are not reflective of my current opinions. I'm not going to take them down or anything because I feel like it's good to learn from mistakes and see how things have changed. I just want it to be clear that I don't stand by those opinions anymore. I've also unprivatized an old review of The Last Jedi because it's absolutely hilarious how I thought that terrible movie was good at some point, and it fits in with the outdated theme. Anywho, that's all I've got to say about it. On to the video now.
Whoa! He's at the door!
Oh boy, The Legend of Spyro Trilogy. Perhaps one of, if not the most influential dragon games ever made. What exactly do I mean by influential? Well, if you're as crazy about dragons as I am, then there's a high chance you already know about this series, or you've at least heard of it. Because after thinking about it, I'd say that while there's many out there who love dragons for what they are, there's also three main fan bases I often see surrounding media based on dragons. Those being How to Train a Dragon, Wings of Fire, and of course, Spyro. I could always be wrong here, but I've based this on my own personal experience looking at fanart and OCs based on those IPs online, and those are the three that come up the most. I hereby dub thee the Holy Trinity of Dragon fandoms. But the Spyro one is interesting to me because unlike How to Train a Dragon, for the most part, and Wings of Fire, this purple lad has been through his fair share of changes. There's the original set of games from the late 90s to early 2000s, and of course the Legend of Spyro series from the mid to late 2000s. I guess you could also count the remasters of the originals as their own thing too. Now I can hit that guy? Okay. Oh no! Ah! Shut up, Hunter, I can do it! Wait, I'm missing one, right? Wasn't there another version of Spyro after TLOS? Nope, can't think of it. By the way, did you know that over 80% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel? Subscribe, but only if you want to.
Do it.
So the Legend of Spyro games are basically a reboot of the Spyro franchise, with a new world, new characters, new game mechanics, and its own lore separate from the originals, which combined with the darker and more serious tone, is what truly sets it apart from the originals, which were lighthearted and quirky. Of course, that's not to say that the Legend series doesn't have its moments of levity, but the overall tone was much different by comparison. It wasn't just the mechanics of the games that were different either. The music and the voice acting was all purposeful in creating a much grander atmosphere, invoking a sense of adventure much larger than what we'd seen before. They even got some pretty big names for this too, like Elijah Wood as Spyro and Gary Oldman as Ignitus.
Really? Really? Yes, sir!
But there's something kinda strange about the other two main voice roles in this trilogy, those being Sparks the Dragonfly and literally everyone's favourite dragon, Cinder. These characters end up getting played by three separate voice actors in each game, which they make a very self-aware joke about in the third game. I mean, it's in no way consistent, but at least they're aware that it's a thing that keeps happening? So with all these new elements brought into Spyro, quite literally, it seems like they're going to take this IP into the next level, which is kind of what they did. The first game in this trilogy is A New Beginning from back in 2006. In this one, the story begins with Spyro being a rare purple dragon who's only born once every 10 generations and who are prophesied to direct the fate of an era. But the Dark Master Malifaux sets out to stop those prophecies from coming true by getting rid of the eggs. Wait, did someone say prophecy? Ignitus, one of the 4 Dragon Guardians, saves Spyro's egg, and years later Spyro is sent on a journey to set free the Dragon Guardians who were captured, and put a stop to the Dark Master's puppet, Cinder. I actually really appreciate the decision to have Cinder as a sympathetic villain in this game. It's not her fault she's the way she is, she's being controlled by Malifaux. And when Spyro realizes this, he makes the choice to save her, and thus began the endless waves of fanfics and shipping. Overall, it's a very simple but understandable story mixed with linear gameplay. Nothing wrong with it being simple and straightforward, but I guess it came back to bite us on the ass when we wanted a little more challenge. A year later and the sequel comes out, and there were a couple of notable changes. The Eternal Night introduced a feature called Dragon Time, which allows you as Spyro to slow down the game for a certain amount of time, which is usually applied for puzzle solving, but it can also be used in battle. But I'm not sure if it was because I was stuck playing the Wii version of this game since I couldn't find a PlayStation copy of it, but holy moly, this game is difficult. And it's not exactly like there's a difficulty selector either, because if you get stuck, you're kinda screwed. But in terms of this game's story, it's it's ambitious, I'll give it that. Spyro gets his new time ability at the start of the game, and the only explanation for this is because he's a purple dragon? Wait, does that mean Malifaux also has this power too, since he's also a purple dragon? Oh wait, we didn't get to the third game yet. So, Spyro in this one is following a bunch of visions to get to a dragon named the Chronicler and stop a threat from the Ape King Gaul to revive the Dark Master from a place called the Well of Souls. I really want to say that the ending of this game is where it truly shines, but man, there's some moments where we go extreme edge mode. So the Dark Master is about to be revived with this energy pouring out of the ground, and Spyro eventually gets caught in it and becomes Dark Spyro. And then he straight up just kills the Ape King Gaul.
Nice.
The story ends on a rather unexpected note though, and this is probably the best moment. With the Well of Souls collapsing around them, Spyro encases Cinder, Sparks, and himself into crystal. Yeah, I know, because Purple Dragon. But yeah, this was quite the shocker on first playthrough, which now brings me into talking about the best game in this series. No cap. Dawn of the Dragon is my personal favourite game of the trilogy. It's the one I've played the most, and it's the one I've always come back to the most. I love this game. Yes, it plays completely different to the games that came before it, and I know people give this game a hard time, but I don't care. I love this game, flaws and all. Being able to play as both Spyro and Cinder working together through this adventure was really cool to see, and it was about bloody time too. I remember playing the Eternal Night and wondering why Cinder was absent for more than half of the game. I guess they didn't quite know what to do with her character at that point? Anyway, the story in this game begins where our characters left off in the Well of Souls, only it's been 3 years since they disappeared. They're broken out of the crystal only to be put in these binding chains, and remember Hunter from the originals? Well, yeah, he's here now. To be fair, they did set him up in the last game. Many take issue with Hunter not being the quirky goofball from the originals, but I have to disagree. That would kind of clash with the tone this series is going for, and wouldn't make much sense. The issue with Hunter is that he doesn't do much in this game. He's just kind of there for most of it. I really like the levels in this game, my personal favourite probably being the Valley of Avlar, which funnily enough is where we get the most time with Hunter and his tribe. So Malifaux is free and the world is at war with his forces, so it's up to Spyro and Cinder to stop him, and Ignitus can't help them out because he's too busy being dead from making a force field to help the others get across the belt of fire? What? So here we are at last, the final boss fight with the big bad of this series, where we end up going to the core of the planet, and then souls from the underground just kind of come up to drag Malifaux into hell? Wait, what? Then Spyro pulls the entire planet back together using Dragon Time. Or at least, I think it's Dragon Time. Wait, did you forget you had that the whole game? Fun fact, did you know that Mark Hamill voices Malifaux in this game? I sure didn't until 20 seconds ago. Okay. Yeah, I'll admit it, this game is just as nonsensical as the previous two. But I can't help but love it. After thinking about it, I think I've figured out what captivates people with these games. I think it's the lore. There's just so many cool places and mysteriousness to it all. That and Cinder is quite a compelling character, that might also be a huge contributing factor. But if there's one thing that might contribute as to why this trilogy didn't do as well as it could have, I'd say it's consistency. The first game was basic, but a solid foundation for a different direction in terms of its story, and the Eternal Night follows that spirit quite well for the most part, but adds in random new abilities like Dragon Time, something that seems to have been added because it's more of a cool game mechanic rather than to fit the narrative. And as much as I love the third game, graphically and gameplay wise it's almost unrecognisable compared to the other two. So this trilogy may not have been the best acclaimed or the best received at the time, but because of its loyal and passionate fanbase, it undoubtedly holds a special place in the hearts of many, including myself. It's quite telling of something special when a series of games is still receiving love and passion even to this day, with fan art, OCs, and fan-made stories. But even though we got the Reignited trilogy in 2018, which was a big success, fans have been left wondering what the future regarding new Spyro content will hold. Will we ever see another serious take at a darker Spyro universe, similar to the Legends series? Why don't Activision do more with such a beloved IP? Is it because they're a terrible company ruled by evil corporate overlords who only see games making money as a success? Well, that's what I was originally going to ask, but then Microsoft announced its takeover of Activision, which has caused quite the skepticism among the gaming community. Will Microsoft finally do something with Spyro once they take over? Well, whatever happens, I just hope we get nothing but the best for our favourite purple boy. He deserves it after all. Anyways, I'm Cicadan, and thanks for watching. Leave your own thoughts on this in the comments below, and subscribe for more if you enjoyed the video, or if you're head over heels for dragons like me. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Whoa! Ah! Jesus Christ! Okay, well, I had no idea what just happened, but it gave me a massive boost, so I'll take it.